Lee Kuan Yew, with his exceptional leadership and foresight, Lee Kuan Yew successfully transformed Singapore from a resource-poor small country into a prosperous, stable, and modern nation. His achievements are not only in the rapid economic development but also in establishing a governance model with long-term competitiveness and appeal. Early experience: opposition to colonial rule, wartime experience, and political awakening, 1942 to 1945. During World War II, when Singapore was occupied by Japan, Lee Kuan Yew witnessed the destruction brought by the war, which had a profound impact on his political awakening. He experienced the harsh realities of the Japanese occupation, witnessing the oppression and suffering under colonial rule. 1946. After the war, Lee Kuan Yew went to the University of Cambridge in the UK to study law. There, he received Western education and ideas, and also came into contact with socialist and anti-colonial movements. Legal background and early political activities. Early 1950s. Lee Kuan Yew returned to Singapore and became a successful lawyer. He used his legal background to provide legal assistance to labor movements and trade unions, and actively participated in political activities opposing British colonial rule. 1954. Lee Kuan Yew co-founded the People's Action Party (PAP), dedicated to fighting for Singapore's autonomy and independence. Through legal means and political activities, he challenged the rule of the colonial authorities and promoted the independence movement. Struggle for independence and autonomy. Struggle with the British colonial government to 1955. Singapore held its first legislative assembly elections, and Lee Kuan Yew and his People's Action Party won some seats, gradually entering the political arena and beginning the struggle with the British colonial government. 1959. The autonomous government of Singapore was established, and Lee Kuan Yew became the first Prime Minister of Singapore. In this process, he engaged in difficult negotiations and struggles with the colonial authorities, ultimately achieving Singapore's autonomy. Struggle with the opposition, late 1950s to early 1960s. In the process of fighting for independence, Lee Kuan Yew also faced challenges from leftists and communists. He used his political wisdom and strategy to consolidate the position of the People's Action Party through alliances and divisions of the opposition. In 1954, when the People's Action Party was established, it included some leftists and pro-communist individuals. Initially, Lee Kuan Yew hoped to use the united left-wing forces to promote Singapore's independence and autonomy. In the mid-1950s, Lee Kuan Yew and the People's Action Party cooperated with trade unions and left-wing organizations to gain more public support and challenge the rule of the British colonial government. Disagreements and struggles. In 1957, as time passed, the left-wing members within the People's Action Party and Lee Kuan Yew's centrist route had increasingly divergent views. Left-wing members hoped to promote revolution through more radical means, while Lee Kuan Yew advocated for autonomy and independence through legal channels. In 1961, left-wing members within the People's Action Party lost in internal struggles and split to form the Barisan Socialists, becoming an important political opponent of Lee Kuan Yew and the PAP. In 1963, after Singapore joined Malaysia, Lee Kuan Yew used the support of the Malaysian government to carry out anti-communist struggles. In 1963, the Singapore government arrested a large number of leaders and activists of the Barisan Socialists in the Operation Cold Store to crack down on communist forces. From 1963 to 1965, during Singapore's merger with Malaysia, Lee Kuan Yew continued to suppress leftists and communists, ensuring the ruling position of the People's Action Party. In the 1960s, Lee Kuan Yew used a series of propaganda and policy measures to expose the dangers of communism, emphasizing the importance of economic development and social stability. He used media and education to strengthen the public's vigilance against communism. Through a series of political and legal means, Lee Kuan Yew effectively weakened the communist forces in Singapore, ensuring the ruling position of the People's Action Party. By the end of the 1960s, the influence of the Barisan Socialists had significantly declined, and Singapore's political environment became more stable. Lee Kuan Yew's anti-communist struggle not only ensured political stability but also created favorable conditions for Singapore's economic development. He promoted Singapore's economic takeoff by attracting foreign investment, developing industries, and improving education levels. Lee Kuan Yew used the anti-communist struggle to strengthen Singapore's national consciousness and the public's trust in the government, consolidating national unity and social harmony. Singapore's merger and separation from Malaysia, 1963. Singapore merged with Malaysia, but soon due to political, economic, and racial issues, Lee Kuan Yew found that this merger could not solve Singapore's fundamental problems. 1965. Due to conflicts with the Malaysian central government, Singapore was forced to become independent. When announcing independence, Lee Kuan Yew faced huge challenges, including economic uncertainty, social instability, and the complexity of international relations. Post-independence construction challenges. 1. Early challenges of independence. When Singapore separated from Malaysia in 1965, it faced severe economic and social challenges, including high unemployment, housing shortages, and racial tensions. 2. International pressure and security issues. As a small country, Singapore needed to handle complex relationships with major neighboring countries during the Cold War to ensure national security. 3. Racial and social integration. Singapore is a multi-ethnic, multicultural society. Lee Kuan Yew needed to handle racial tensions and build a harmonious society. Measures. 1. Economic reform and opening up. Implement free market economic policies. Attract foreign investment and technology. Establish the Singapore Economic Development Board (EDB) to promote industrialization and economic diversification. Develop the financial service industry, making Singapore a regional financial center. 2. Education and training. Invest in education, establish a world-class education system, and cultivate high-quality labor force. Promote bilingual education, ensuring that citizens can master English while retaining their mother tongues. 3. Housing and infrastructure. Establish the Housing and Development Board (HDB), providing affordable and high-quality public housing. Invest in modern infrastructure construction, such as ports, airports, and metro systems. 4. Social harmony and rule of law. Implement strict rule of law to ensure social order and stability. Implement racial harmony policies to ensure equal development of all ethnic groups and avoid racial conflicts. Achievements. 1. Economic takeoff. Singapore has developed from a third-world country into one of the wealthiest countries in the world. Per capita GDP has increased significantly, becoming an economic miracle in Southeast Asia. Singapore ranks third in the latest global ranking of the richest regions and countries, with a per capita gross domestic product of 114,000 Singapore dollars, about 83,000 US dollars. 2. Social harmony and stability. Through racial harmony policies, Singapore has maintained long-term social stability and harmony, a highly secure social environment and good quality of life. 3. Education and human capital. Singapore's education system has become one of the best in the world, cultivating a large number of high-quality talents. Singapore has a clear advantage in human capital, which is competitive on the international stage. 4. International status enhancement. Singapore has become an important financial, trade, and logistics center globally. Lee Kuan Yew's governance philosophy. The core of Lee Kuan Yew's governance philosophy lies in pragmatism, efficiency, and a corruption-free government. His thinking combines an understanding of Western democracy with an emphasis on Asian values, emphasizing stability, economic development, and social harmony. He firmly believes that the government should have strong executive power to ensure the effective implementation of policies, and considers education, housing, and integrity as key factors in national development. Core concepts. 1. Pragmatism. Lee Kuan Yew advocates pragmatism, not adhering to ideology. He believes that the main responsibility of the government is to improve the quality of life of the people, regardless of the policy means used. 2. Economic priority. He believes that economic development is the foundation of all national issues, and only economic prosperity can ensure social stability and improve the standard of living of the people. 3. Clean government. Lee Kuan Yew attaches great importance to anti-corruption, believing that only a clean government can gain the trust of the people and ensure the effective implementation of policies. 4. Social harmony. He emphasizes racial harmony and social cohesion, believing that the harmonious coexistence of multiculturalism is an important prerequisite for national stability. 5. Emphasis on education. Lee Kuan Yew believes that education is the cornerstone of the nation's future, cultivating talents through high-quality education to enhance national competitiveness. Specific measures. 1. Economic policy. Attracting foreign investment. Attract multinational companies to invest in Singapore by providing preferential policies and a stable business environment. Economic diversification. Develop various economic industries such as manufacturing, finance, and shipping to avoid dependence on a single industry. Trade liberalization. Open the market, reduce tariff barriers, and promote Singapore as a global trade center. 2. Housing policy. Housing program. The government leads the construction of a large number of housing units, providing affordable and high-quality housing, enabling most Singaporeans to own their homes. Central Provident Fund (CPF), through a mandatory savings plan, help residents accumulate funds for home purchases and ensure retirement life. 3. Anti-corruption measures. Strict laws. Formulate and enforce strict anti-corruption laws, with zero tolerance for corrupt behavior. High salaries for integrity. Provide high salaries for civil servants to reduce the temptation of corruption and attract outstanding talents to the government. 4. Education policy. Emphasis on basic education. Improve the quality of basic education to ensure that all children receive a good education. Cultivating elites. Establish scholarships and overseas study programs to cultivate a group of elite talents with an international perspective. 5. Social harmony. Racial harmony plan. Through laws and policies, ensure equal treatment for all ethnic groups and promote racial harmony. Language policy. Promote bilingual education, emphasizing the importance of English as an international language while preserving the mother tongue culture of each ethnic group.